John chapter 1, verse 1, it starts off with the words, "In the beginning was the Word." And what John does very artfully at the beginning of his gospel is he mirrors all the way back to Genesis chapter 1. And in the same way that Genesis 1 begins, he chooses to begin in the Gospel of John. And in the beginning of Genesis 1, it says, "In the beginning, God." So the Apostle John chooses in the Gospel of John to start his gospel with, "In the beginning was the Word." And what is he doing? He is doing something very purposefully to explain that the Word, Jesus, is God. Let's look at it as it unfolds. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He's saying in the beginning was Jesus, and Jesus was with God, and Jesus was God. Now, I don't intend to be too much of a nerd right now or to get too technical, but I do think we need to look at a phrase that's in this verse and look at it in Greek, because I think it will be helpful for us to understand how it is so very purposeful, the words that were used, to help protect us from heresy. Heresy being lies being told about God, lies being told about who God is and what he has done. This verse is a core verse for us as a follower of Jesus to understand who Jesus is. And the Apostle John gives us the words very purposefully. So if you'd be willing to geek out with me for a little bit, I want to share it with you. So in Greek, the phrase for "and the Word was God," the phrase is kai theos hein ha logos. If you took those words in Greek right down to the English, it would be "and God was the Word." In English, we say "and the Word was God," okay? If there had been an article, this is the article here, If there had been an article right here, which is a way he could have written it, it would have been adding in front of theos, the article, it would have been translated this way: "and the Word was the God." Why does that matter? Well, if this had been translated "and the Word was the God," then it would have led to a heresy, and the heresy would have been modalism, Sabellianism. And what is that? That is that God was in a mode as the Father, and then God changed modes and became the Son, and then God changed modes and became the Spirit. But that's not what this says. This says kai theos hein ha logos, and God was the Word, and it's giving two persons here are being described. It's describing God, and it's describing the Word, and it's saying what God was, the Word was. What the Word was, God was. It's helping us see the Father and the Son are both God. And it protects us from heresy. If the word order had been switched and it had been written in the opposite of the phrasing in this phrase, it would have led to, "and the Word was a God." And the Word was a God. Why would that be a problem? And why would that lead to heresy? Well, that would have led to Arianism. And the Word was a God would be describing that God the Father is the real God, and he created Jesus, who is not actually God. He's a God. He's a created being. And that's not how this is written. So it protects us from that heresy. So right here in this little tiny phrase, it is so purposeful and it is so compact, but it has brought the light of truth of who Jesus is to the church for all these years. And it's found right here in John chapter 1, verse 1. "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God."